Good afternoon. Today is the 28th of July and we're in the Tivoli today because something very unexpected has happened in the last 24 hours and it's very important I think I share this with you. Mitsubishi in the UK and actually in Europe have announced that they will be pulling their cars from both those markets within the next couple of years. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to Ben from Planet Auto for making me aware of this. I have triple checked this source, not that I particularly needed to, but just thought for my own personal sake I would do that, and it is absolutely true. The source that Ben used is an automotive sort of industry source. It's a very reliable one, and the more mainstream magazines such as Auto Car and Auto Express have also reported this. Essentially what seems to have happened is Mitsubishi, who were imported to this country by the Colt Car Company and have been for about 50 years I think. You will remember that Mitsubishis before about 1980 were badged as things like the Colt 1200 and 1500. They wrote to all the dealers, I think that was maybe the end of last week or beginning of this week, and told them that Mitsubishi wants to leave the UK and European new markets. And the Colt Car Company, who are based in the west of England, Cirencester, have said that they're going to try to bring other brands in. I don't know what these brands are. They're not saying, as far as I know. That could be things like Proton, who were brought out of the market in 2012. It could be maybe some of the Chinese brand we don't get over here. I don't really know. But I'm looking to fill that with another brand. This is quite shocking in many ways. I remember the last makers we would have lost would have been Daihatsu. That was about 2012. Same as Proton and Perodua. They were imported by the same people actually to this country. And then of course Chevrolet in 2015. It's funny that I actually owned now quite a number of cars from defunct manufacturers. Saab would have disappeared about the same time, but we're concentrating on the sort of Asian cars, and you know, Chevrolet, Proton, Perodua and Daihatsu were all from that part of the world. In the letter from the Colt Car Company, apparently they said they didn't anticipate at any point receiving this news. I mean, clearly they won't have anything to do if this goes ahead, which it looks like it will. Mitsubishi's sales in this country have steadily decreased for a very long time. It's a real shame. They used to make fantastic cars. I owned a 2006 Shogun, as you know, briefly at the beginning of the year, and that car was brilliant. It wasn't really what my lady wife and I would need in our lives, particularly at the moment, but it was brilliant nevertheless. It was fantastic off-road. Took it off-road twice, and it excelled itself. The Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 10 that I drove on the channel in December 2018, which, you know, not a lot of you don't think have seen that video. It's a very early one on the channel, but I drove it up on a racetrack, and it was a fantastic car. Mitsubishi used to be known for very, very tough off-roaders, things like the Shogun and the Shogun Sport, I think it was badged in this country as. Other markets are different names of Pajero and other things, but very tough off-roaders, Paris-Dakar winning cars, and then also rally machines like the Lancer Evolutions. Evolution 10 is a fantastic car. Why they didn't replace that, I don't really know. Then of course we had this big sea change in them. They started doing things like badging their latest SUV as the Eclipse Cross. That's not a bad car, by the way. I've never driven one. I think Planet Auto are going to get one of those quite soon, because this whole affair is not going to go down for a couple of years. You know, Eclipse Cross is there. The ASX, I drove one of those in 2017 when I was thinking of replacing the Chevy Cruze that I had, and it was a pretty good car. It's been around a long time, since 10. Planet Auto, again, they got one of the latest facelift ones, a 2020 model in late 2019. So I'm sure you can go on their channel and have a look at that and see what it's like. Again, it looks pretty interesting. It's a very off-road focused car. It's one of the most off-road focused cars in the class. It was classed like the Tivoli. I didn't sort of look at one because I think it was a little bit too expensive for me at the time. But nice looking car, the ASX, good car. But it seems to be that they're just kind of losing their way. People aren't that interested in them anymore. And, you know, SsangYong themselves, they've actually got, if I think about it, they've got about 4 different models that compete directly with Mitsubishi. The Tivoli competes with the ASX, the Corando competes with the Eclipse Cross, the Rexton competes directly with, I think it's now called the Shogun Sport. It's the L200 based off-roader that replaced the Shogun in this country, and then the Musso competes directly with the L200. So there are alternatives out there, and Mitsubishi had a very good warranty package. It was a 5-year warranty, and that will stay, obviously. But yeah, other manufacturers have come along. Kia, MG, SsangYong offer 7 years, and SsangYong in particular 150,000 miles, industry leading. So it's not going to be an immediate withdrawal. The Colt Car Company seem to say that the dealers will be offering cars until they don't comply with new European regulations. And there are a couple of those coming in soon. Things like the breathalyzer law, which is silly. We've talked about that before. The speed limit law, I think that's 2022 that's coming in. So every single new car will have to be fitted with a speed limiter, which, you know, is triggered by the regulatory and traffic signs. Now, that's a separate topic in itself, but you can obviously override that if you want to. So there are new regulations coming in all the time, the emissions regulations. We're on Euro 6 D-Temp at the moment in WLTP. That will change. And a lot of the Mitsubishi portfolio, apart from perhaps the Outlander PHEV, which has been a relatively strong seller for Mitsubishi, are not compliant with a lot of these new regulations. So whether, you know, a drop in sales, which has been quite dramatic, I think it's 50% between the first 6 months of 2019 and the first 6 months of 2020, you can kind of see why, you know, the Mitsubishi, which is just a part of the Renault, Nissan, Mitsubishi alliance, would perhaps choose to concentrate on stronger markets than the European one, where they're just not doing very well. And, you know, these great cars that they've been making for a long time, and you know, the historic ones will be remembered obviously for a long time. But the range at the moment, I don't know. They do make some good cars. The ASX is a good car. Eclipse Cross, I think that's pretty good, but the buyers don't seem to be there. This is obviously a very horrible time for all the dealers. I think there's 103 of them, and the Colt Car Company itself, as they decide what they're going to do next once Mitsubishi just stops giving them any cars to import, which might be in the next couple of years. It probably will be, to be honest. So yeah, I don't quite know what else to say other than that it's just a bit of a shock news for lots of people. It's not anticipated. I imagine there are other brands who will be looking to capitalise on this development, but it is just a shame. Mitsubishi made some great cars in the past. They still make good cars, and I don't know what it would mean to get someone to turn this around, but we'll have to see. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. To be updated on any news about this story about Mitsubishi. Don't forget to like this video and to leave a comment below. And yes, I'll see you again soon. Don't forget to visit my Facebook page, facebook.com/Lloyd Vehicle Consulting. And thank you once again ever so much indeed for watching.